You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back, Rudrance, for Black and White Sports 2. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, like, comment. I know a lot of you guys are going to have something to say about this. And as always, make sure you check us out on podcasts, wherever you get your podcasting from. It's Black and White Network on Pod. So, we got a couple of things. We got the Jimmy Garoppolo story involving his foot and the fact that Jimmy had to waive his right for medical because it was a pre-existing condition involving that foot. That was the same injury that he had with the Niners because he would not have passed the Raiders' physical. Now, you might be... One of the things that's coming out of this is that this is really out of the ordinary when, frankly, no, it's not. A lot of players do this. They waive the physical part on a pre-existing injury. But it is sort of getting interesting because Tom Brady's laying in the weeds there, okay? Now, the thing about it is he has reached an agreement in principle to become a minority owner with the Las Vegas Raiders. But the fact is, he could defer and decide not to do that just yet. I mean, let's be real. Mark Davis is not going to take that opportunity away from Tom if Tom decided he wanted to wait a year to do it. And why would he wait a year to do it? Because he might want to play football again. And look, do I think he's retired? Probably. But it's certainly worth talking about. As we saw the other day, fans were starting to say, oh man, this is looking more and more like Tom Brady territory. But as long as, and I mentioned this the other day in a video, when I talked about this, other NFL teams, if he already buys this minority stake, let's say he's already got it for sure, it's been done, signed, sealed, delivered, then he's not going to see the field for the Raiders, all right? Because every NFL team, the ownership would have to approve Brady playing. And I said the other day, do we really believe that AFC West teams, the Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, would ever approve that? Tom Brady sauntering into their division. Of course they're going to say no and shoot that down immediately. That makes you wonder, though, has he actually signed the minority ownership paperwork? If we start hearing rumblings that he has not signed that yet, then look out. I mean, then you got something that's got real fire to it. And it just so happens some of the Sharks have moved Tom Brady into the favorite to start for the Raiders. Yeah, it's not DraftKings, it's not FanDuel, it's not BetMGM, but it is one of the bigger ones, and it's one of the ones that operates offshore. Jimmy Garoppolo signed a waiver in place of a physical per reports. An addendum to Jimmy Garoppolo's contract with the Las Vegas Raiders was a waiver that took place of the quarterback taking a physical with the team, according to a copy of the deal obtained by multiple outlets. Quote, the absence of this waiver, Garoppolo would not pass the club's physical examination because of a pre-existing medical and medial cuneiform and fracture of the base of the second metatarsal in the player's left foot. In other words, his foot injury would not have allowed him to pass the Raiders' physical. Now, if you're a Raiders fan, you're probably thinking, damn, he wouldn't have passed our physical and we signed him? Well, that explains why he only got 72.75 and not 100, okay? And, again, this is not just wildly out of the ordinary. It's catching a lot of fire because it's the Raiders, Tom Brady's involved here, etc. That is why this is, and it's Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's got a history. All right? The provision, titled Addendum G, was initially reported by PFT and later posted on social media by NFL Network. The waiver addresses the foot injury that a source said Garoppolo underwent surgery for shortly after he signed the 3-year, $70.75 million contract with the Raiders on March 17th. Now, It's my understanding that this follow-up surgery he had actually should ensure that he actually gets on the field, because it's supposed to sort of, without a doubt, take care of any lingering issue involving that foot. We'll see. According to PFT, the Raiders could terminate Garoppolo's contract for any reason related to the waiver, and Garoppolo will not be paid any of his base salary for the 2022 season until he passes a physical. The waiver is voided if Garoppolo remains with the Raiders for 2 days after their final game of the 2023 season, according to the copy posted by the NFL Network. Now, it's funny because I made a video on this. Everybody remember that Jimmy Garoppolo's introductory press conference was all of a sudden called off one day, and everybody said, no, nothing to see here, no big deal, no worries. Well, that's why it was called off. They were working on the language involving that injury. Quote, no worry, Garoppolo said March 18th when asked if his injury held up the signing. I mean, it was just talking language, things like that, but no, both sides, I think, knew what we wanted to get done, so it was a very collaborative, actually, just us coming together. Now, we know he's got a relationship with Josh McDaniels because of the New England Patriots. So, this is Florio saying exactly what I said a minute ago. There's no way in hell Tom Brady is getting 32 owners that's actually going to vote him in to allow him to play, provided he goes through with that minority ownership stake. Once that minority ownership stake happens, he will not ever play for the Raiders. It won't happen. As Tom Brady waits for his purchase of a percentage of the Raiders to be approved, there is a question as to whether other owners would require him to provide a commitment that he'll never play again. Separately, he would need a 32-0 vote of ownership to let him join the team after becoming an owner. I cleaned that up for you, Florio. From a business standpoint, all teams should want Brady to play. I want him to play. He's great for business. He generates interest in the game. The problem, as one or more teams likely will see, is if Brady ever tries to play, is that Brady's status as an owner makes him essentially an extra member of the roster in waiting. In other words, they don't want the Raiders to be able to signal this guy in out of the bullpen. Someone could be signed on an emergency basis who has been attending meetings and practices and knows the offense and the systems and could get up to speed quickly. So if Brady is approved and if an unanimous vote would require him to play, don't expect it to happen. So now it gets very interesting when the sharps start moving on Tom Brady playing for the Raiders. This is odd. This is odd. But it's worth taking a glance at when they start moving betting lines and shit. Apparently, Tom Brady's status as a retired NFL player is not believed by everybody. This is especially true of a gambling site that offers odds on which players will be the Raiders' next QB. BetOnline has the following odds for Week 1 for the Raiders' QB if not Jimmy Garoppolo. Tom Brady is 2-1. He's a 2-1 favorite. Brian Hoyer 5-2. Matt Ryan ? 3-1. Nick Foles 6-1 ? Aiden O'Connell, who they drafted, 7-1. Carson Wentz 7-1. Where the hell they pull Andy Dalton at 10-1 out of their ass is random. Why? Well, as of right now, he's a quarterback that is either going to be 1 or 2 on the depth chart for the Carolina Panthers. Now, they drafted Bryce Young. Most people think Bryce will play, but they could choose to let Bryce set half a season. Well, if that happens, Andy Dalton is the quarterback there. BetOnline has listed Brady as a favorite to be the Raiders starter if Jimmy Garoppolo is unable to line up under center. Garoppolo did not pass his physical with the Raiders and had surgery on his left foot. There are no guarantees he will be ready to participate at full strength in training camp. Since the NFL waits for nobody, the Raiders have to at least be thinking about who will line up at quarterback for the 2023 season. BetOnline has its opinion. That gambling site seems to believe that a retired Brady has the best chance of QB for the silver and black. Now, I will say this. Once you get outside of the AFC West, do I think you would be surprised how many owners would actually vote in favor of him playing? Yeah, guys like Robert Kraft, Stan Kroenke, Jerry Jones, they're going to vote a thumbs up for Brady playing. You might be like, why? Because Brady is big business, and they know it. He would be huge business in Las Vegas, and they know it. And the league, we've seen this. The owners, they want to make money basically above all. All right? Again, Jerry Jones was the driving force behind Stan Kroenke moving out of St. Louis and the Spanoses moving to L.A. with the Chargers, even though either team can't draw for their own home team. Why? The money involved with the television market of L.A. And Jerry Jones knew that. This bears watching, again, the pivot point here. If Brady backs out of the minority owner thing, or you start seeing it's been delayed, it's been postponed, Brady still hasn't signed it, you start seeing any of that, antennas will start going up big time that Brady is coming back to the NFL. If it goes through, it's a wrap. Just that simple, okay? Tell me what you think. By the way, again, the Garoppolo thing, the waiver, not that unusual in the NFL. It's just caught steam because of the Tom Brady, Garoppolo's always injured dynamic. It's a quarterback, so it's getting a lot of play, as you would think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.